All right, we're taking a look at Forest Hills. Forest Hills here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the 2024 year-end recap. We're going to go through everything that happened in Forest Hills in 2024. There were 90 homes that sold. Everything in Forest Hills is single family. There's like a handful of duplexes, but we'll throw those out. The majority of the homes, 99% of them, are single family homes. So that's what we're looking at. We're going to take a look at the stats in Forest Hills. We'll start there, then we'll go through like the top 5 sales in Forest Hills, and then we'll hit the lower end too, kind of the low end of kind of Forest Hills entry level price points of what we saw sell in 2024. The average price sold in Forest Hills, $2,535,000 and some change. So you're about $2.5 million. That number's up over last year. There were 90 homes sold. That number's slightly down over last year. Days on market, about 37 days. Now listen, 3-4 years ago, you'd put it on the market, every house would sell the first weekend. So days on market was like 2. We're at 37. If you put your home on the market in Forest Hills, you should expect that it's going to take a little over a month to go under contract. LCT is listing to close date. So if you list on January 1st, you'd be looking at first week, second week, and March when you'd actually get to a closing. Sales price for listing price, it's right at 95%. We're going to round up there. If you list your home for $1 million, on average, you're going to get about $950 for it. Obviously, double that if it's 2 million, triple if it's 3 million. You know the drill there. So let's take a look. Forest Hills, again, just breaking this down. We see the values are pretty consistent across the board in Forest Hills. Up closer in this area and the most northern spot, really where you're on the borderline of Belle Meade, we'll see some really, really premium pricing. And then if you get some of these lots that are tucked away where there's complete privacy, we do see some bigger numbers there. But on average, you're right around that 2.5 on average. So let's take a look at the top 5 homes sold. This is going to be by sales price for 2024. We're going to start at the top. This one on Granny White went for $7.8 million. This is just over the line. I think this actually technically is Oak Hill. Just the barrier I drew around it isn't going to be exactly accurate, but that's a good example of kind of the area. This one's on Harding Place. This is on a really big lot. It's 2.5 acres, and this is a massive home. It is 10,500 square feet. Gated entrance, its own private setup. Really, this is kind of an estate lot. This on these main streets in Nashville, like Tyne and Overton Lee and Franklin Pike and Harding and places and Belle Meade Boulevard. You're going to see these estate lots that go for those 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 million dollars. And that's a great example of one. That one closed at 7.5. One over on Priest. This one's tucked away. This is a wild house. It's like 7,500 square feet. You can see kind of the roof line there, kind of up in the treetops. Stunning views. Pool on this one's amazing. Gated entrance. I mean, this thing's awesome. This was a really cool one. I remember when this one came on the market. Just an absolutely fascinating property. Again, kind of that unique stuff. Takes a long time to sell. It was on the market for 256 days. Again, those really unique properties that are going to require a special buyer can take a little bit longer to sell. This one's on Chickering Court. This one was done by Craftsman Residential. He's a local builder developer. He does his own spec and builds these big, beautiful homes. The stone on this one's really cool. It's kind of a funky lot, but just it allowed him to build a really, really wide house. Didn't have a massive, like big, huge backyard, but you can see kind of the fixtures he does. Just a real great touch. And again, for brand new 8,400 square foot home, that one closed at $6.4 million. We went over on Cherry Blossom. This is a new construction one. They just put it in for comp purposes. Really probably a custom home over on Tyne Valley Estates. That one's 7,300. It closed at 5.7. Not like really a true sale, so it's tough to really do comparables, like if you own the house next to it. Well, that one's a custom. It doesn't really count. This one's over on Linwood. This was a really cool house. I remember when this one came up, went almost immediately. Just a really, really well done. I think it's got that parged, no, it's just got traditional brick on the outside. Just a cool setup, big sweeping driveway around it, clean on the inside, big open spaces. And Linwood's a really good street in Forest Hill, so it makes sense. That's what it went for. We saw, half a dozen that went over $5 million. Again, the majority of these homes that sold are going to be in that $2 to $2.5 million range. Taking a look on the other end, kind of what we saw. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. On the lower end, this is one, $600,000. I actually looked at this one with a client. It's on the side of a hill. You always worry about anything you're looking at on a slope like this. That's not the end of the world. But if they have colluvial soils, it can get really, really tricky to try to work that out. 600, this is a big lot too. It was like 2.1 acres. My guy ended up passing on it. It was just a little too risky, but 600 in Forest Hills, you'll almost never see that. So that makes sense. There might have been some issues to go with it. This one's on Granny White. Also looked at this one. This one's up on a hill. And again, on these lots that are under $1 million, they're under $1 million for a reason. It's going to be a challenge to get good building sites on these. You're probably going to have a foundation that's going to cost you a couple $100,000. Obviously, that's a tear down property, so the pictures on the inside are not going to be anything to look at. The next one up is on Old Hickory. This one, I'm trying to remember exactly. It's 2.5 acres. It is, I'm pretty sure it's up on the hill, so it's kind of tucked back up in there. Actually, no, I know exactly what it is. It's right off where Hillsborough crosses. There's a creek back there, which might affect the buildability, so you can like a massive house. In that section of Old Hickory, it's a little more high traffic, and the houses are pretty close to the street, so it's not like, a Tyne or Franklin Road where the houses are really far set back, and, it's not going to be an issue with road noise. It's a relatively busy street going by there. Again, that's why that thing traded under $900,000. We got one on Alcott here. I can only imagine it's going to be a similar story in terms of something. This one's only for comp purposes. It went for $900,000. I just want to check Alcott exactly where that is. Okay, it's kind of tucked away in there. It's really hilly back in there, so you've got a good slope that you're working with, which is what we typically expect for anything under $1 million in Forest Hills. We'll do one more over on Timberwood. I actually looked at this one as well. I think this one's on the corner. No, it's not. It's up on the hill. We actually looked at the one on the corner as well for a different client. But good spot. You're up on the hill there. You're not going to have a big backyard because these things slope so much. It makes it a bit of a challenge. If you're looking for a house in Forest Hills, get the free report. I put this out once a month. It's got every home that's sold in Forest Hills, gives you all the pricing, what's currently on the market. These only come to me. Just fill this out. I'll send you a copy of the report. We put them out once a month. I just shoot you an email or mail you a hard copy of the report that gives you all the data so you have the best info where you can go in there, you can see all the pictures of the houses, all that good stuff, and get a good feel for what's truly going on in Forest Hills.